back in Barbican, and haven't been shooting for a while, but we're of course back out for something exciting, which you've seen for the thumbnail, the M EV1. Very, very excited to try this. Will it be for me? We'll see. Let's start with the coffee. That is always such good coffee, that one. But yeah, this morning we've been wandering around a little bit. Ethan was using the camera, and I popped the VisiFlex 2 on the M11 monochrome just to remind myself how to use an EVF a little bit, because I've been using the rangefinder so much recently. And also I wanted to see if there is much comparison for those of you at home who have tried the VisiFlex and what this is like compared to that. But we were just running around town, shooting some bits this morning, having a bit of a nerd out, a bit of a chat. We brought with us the 50mm Noctilux. We bought Ethan's 50mm close focus. We've got the 90 macro Elmar, and we've got the 21 Summilux. So the beauty of a camera like this is when you chuck an EVF on, or when you use a VisiFlex on an M11, it allows you to use everything wider than a 28mm and longer than a 50. Now you can do that anyway, but obviously the EVF is adapting to create the full space that you're seeing through that lens. So it's the exact frame of what you need. And so yeah, we thought we'd try a 90 and a 21. So we've kind of pushed the limits of both ends. We're currently making our way towards Bank, and we'll see what we can get. The sun's with us at the moment, although we are drastically losing light and finishing summer. So very excited for this new camera. In theory, still an M11, not much has changed. Just we have lost the rangefinder and got this EVF. So yeah, let's see what we can get. Really enjoying that 90, but we're about to enter Central Bank, so we go to the 21 Lux. Let's get close. We're now in Liverpool Street, just grabbing a bit of grub and a coffee, and I'm really enjoying this process. It sounds obvious and a bit silly, but it is like the M system and the Q system had a love child, and this is what they made from it. It feels just like an M. As soon as you pull it up to the eye, it's got that familiarity of the Q. I think it's got a beautiful, beautiful EVF. Probably the same as the Q343. I'd need to check that with Ethan. But yeah, it seems really responsive. Even I've been doing a couple of burst shots as well, and you do get that kind of like flicker, and it's really nice and quick, so you can see each frame. Just check your composition, check if you're doing slow shutter, if one of those came out sharp. And yeah, it just feels really intuitive. And the other thing is it's incredibly clear. You get the option of like a sort of I don't know, a 30% punch in, and then more like a 55, 60% punch in. So generally for a bit of street, I've been doing the short one. And if I was doing like a portrait, I'd want to really punch into that. And you can seriously see how sharp these lenses actually are. Like this 21 Summilux is wildly sharp, even at 1.4. and see that through the EVF, and actually some of the characteristics that you're getting from the lens is amazing. Because when you're on an M and you're using a Noctilux 0.95 versus a 50 f2, you know, they look exactly the same through the rangefinder because you're not seeing the lens characteristics. Here you're actually seeing those live as you're taking those images, and I think that that is a real perk, especially if you're looking to actually take your time and compose some of these images. So yeah, I think that's a real selling point for some people. Naturally, I am a rangefinder kind of guy, but it's not to say I'm having a great time with this camera. Right, oh, still a bit full off that. Just a meal deal, but simple, easy, and on the go. And I've swapped back to this 90. I'm really enjoying the 90. I mean, I've never shot this one before. I've shot the 90 Apo, which is beautiful. I'd love to have a go at the 90 Summilux, basically a 75 Noctilux. But this really is tiny. Look, when you turn it around, you collapse like that. Look at that. That's mental. So, really enjoying it. It's sharp, it's lightweight, and yeah, it just makes me see very differently. And sometimes when you lift up a normal M with the 90, you kind of have to remind yourself what those frame lines are, because you can sort of forget when you've been shooting in 35 ranges. There's no confusion with this. Chug it straight in there. You're seeing the full frame, the full image, and enjoying shooting color again. I normally shoot monochrome, and also enjoying shooting some different lenses. Right, swap to the Noctilux, my favorite lens. There it is. Makes such a difference. Big game changer. Just make sure you don't lose these, because that happens. Swapping to the 35 Summilux. This is actually Ethan's. He's had this personalised with green. Really nice. Goes with his MP he had done by CameraWorks, where I also had my MP done. But it's fun with this camera. I'm just going through all these different lenses, seeing what it's like. The thing is, I haven't abused this well enough to shoot it at 1.4 for like street. That's really tough. But that's when I think this would really come into its own, when you're trying to critically focus, because that's where you're going to get the benefits. I could really critically focus that Noctilux. I took my time with it a bit more, you know, it's less passing, it's more like sort of trying to compose some images and find light. The 21 Summilux is one of the greatest lenses I've ever used, but it's just not that easy when you're shooting 1.4 on the street, so wicked lens though. Yeah, oh, it's so good. It really is so fun looking through this EVF, and with especially something like a 90. I have no idea when I look at like a scene, I can't like picture the frame lines of having a 90. I can picture what a 28 and a 35 and 50 looks like, but you can go through this and you can literally kind of like angle it and try and create your shots so much clearer. So for composing images, I can see this being a real beast. And those in architectural work that want to use M lenses, obviously you can put them on the SLs, that's great, and then other cameras, but to have it on an M is quite fun. I know that a lot of people do long exposures and stuff like that, and you need tripods, but I really do think it would allow you to really like be free. I also think it could be quite fun as a director's viewfinder for those that sort of wander around, you know, on set and try and work out angles with their DPs. You know, actually trying to use it and try and work out where you want the subject, where's the light hitting. It would make such a difference. For composing stuff, I can see this being a real win. For walking by on the street, it's not quite fast enough. You know, if you wanted to dial in like anything, like shooting a 35 at 1.4 with a rangefinder, you just put it in the sweet spot and you just pull your way through it a little bit and shoot a couple of frames. Whereas this, it takes a while. You lift it up, you dial it in, it punches in, but it's not quite as quick as you want to be. So I definitely think compositionally is where these sort of things are going to come in handy, as I said, for architecture, photographers and landscape.
Pleasure as always, man.
That was really good fun with Ethan. He's always so knowledgeable and understanding of opinions when cameras come out. And I think a lot of people choose to not like this camera initially, especially some of the M lovers and some of the hardcore rangefinders. But it's not like they've created a new system. It's more like they've just created a hybrid. And I'm all here for it. I really like that Leica over the last sort of what feels like 5 years have been really trying to push for fairly regular releases that are innovative, or, you know, having a nod to the classic era. And I think they've done it again. Another breakthrough for them. And yeah, I think this camera can be very successful, and I'm all here for it. But I'm now wandering back towards Bank. Maybe we'll snap a little more. Maybe we'll snap a little bit more when we're around there, and then head back. But I've had a really nice day, and always do. And it's all made possible by Red Dot Cameras. So. Oh, what a day. That was such fun. Still feel like I'm kind of getting used to the camera. And on the way home just then, I don't really like filming on the tube, but to the 21 Lux down with me, grabbed a couple of snaps. The light was just so nice in Waterloo. And yeah, just really enjoyed this camera. Didn't think I would, as I've said, and I have, especially, you know, shooting those wide angles or something north of like a 75, 90, 135. But yeah, such an experience. So as you can probably tell, I am just going to do a wrap-up review of this new camera. I am going to go and shoot some portraits with it in a few days' time, but we're going to separate that video, and we're just going to start with my initial thoughts about this camera. First thing first, it has actually got a different shape than the original M's. It's got a curved left top edge, which is normally where you would have this pop-up ISO dial that you get on all the M's, but this doesn't have it. And so it gives this roundish edge, and I do really like that. It's a bit of a change. It's definitely a bit different when you're looking at them side by side, but that's the only real sort of feature that's actually changed from the physical outside that I've sort of noticed, other than the obvious rangefinder is not there anymore. But what I want to really talk about is, let's start with the pros of this camera. I have mentioned some of these throughout the video, but this is a kind of wrap up from what I've discovered. This is beautiful for compositioning. Nice, slow, take your time sort of shots, looking up at buildings, architecture, landscapes will be amazing as well. But half the reason is you can kind of look through this EVF and move around a lot, clearly see not only your actual framing from any lens you put on there rather than sort of guessing or speculating through a rangefinder, but also you actually get to see the lens's character. The only thing is, I am a rangefinder person. And for street photography, which is predominantly what we're doing, yes, I shot some more things that weren't people related, which is what I like to shoot. I think a viewfinder is far more fast and responsive into the way that I use and utilize street photography. When I was using a 90 or a 21 or an 18, absolutely wonderful camera. And I think that this is far more responsive than using an M with a VisaFlex 2. So I think that that is a huge perk. You are getting SL results through your EVF with an M body and M lenses that you just keep wanting to reattach. It's kind of that form and that compact sort of camera that allows you to carry it wherever and not feel like it's a burden, whereas I wouldn't do that with an SL. The personal touch for me is that I only really like shooting black and white when it comes to digital. Otherwise, I will shoot film. I way prefer my M11 monochrome over this new EV1, but again, that's personal preference. No color camera converting to black and white stacks up compared to what the M11 monochrome will offer you in terms of black and white photography. The results from an M11 monochrome are wildly different, absolutely vast, and you have so much shadow retention, highlight retention, etc. And the files are just so much more malleable. Overall, I really did enjoy this camera a lot more than I thought I would. As I said, especially outside those 28, 35, 50 focal lengths. But even with those focal lengths, you know, and something that I'll discover more when I shoot my portrait session, I think that this allows you to critically focus, not just because you can see the lens character, but because you can really take your time with those shots. And I think 28 is a really easy focal length to dial in and get sharp on an M. But the 50, when shooting a 9.5, is really tricky on a rangefinder. You have to just kind of put it in the slot and kind of balance your way through it a little bit. With this, especially with the different magnifications, it is an absolute gem to do. And so when I do shoot portraits with this, I think it's going to be perfect to shoot some nice fast lenses and make sure I'm actually getting those eyes and not the eyelashes in focus. I think that's where it's going to really come in handy. And I think this camera will be great for those who aren't quite ready to jump to the M yet from the Q. This is a great hybrid. I think it'll be great for landscape photographers who really want to take time to dial in their shots and actually see live results without using an LCD. And sometimes when there's a lot of glare around you, you do want to bury your eye into that rather than look on the back of the screen and see reflections and so on. But all in all, it's a beautiful camera. I've really enjoyed playing with it. It's been a lot of fun, and leaves me to say a big thanks to Leica, to Red Dot Cameras, and also to the music bed who have supplied the music for this video. So thanks so much. I look forward to sharing some more details on this camera with you in the future. Appreciate you watching.